All praises, all honor, all glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutation to all our Akim doing and pushing this word in sincerity and truth worldwide. And a sincere shalom to the elect. Now I want to get to this video. I saw this, I think this was a week ago, maybe. Okay. This guy right here, Pierre Polyev, or whatever his name is, he wants to, he's part of the conservatives. He wants to bring in the 3 strikes law, okay, here in Canada. So, I dubbed this, I said, you know what? 2/3 can't discern the times, man. 3 strike laws. So they can't see where society is headed, okay? And this is all prophecy that's written in the scriptures, all right? So let's get into these scriptures here real quick, because the word of Yahweh Shemiel Shai, it don't skip a beat, man, okay? When you know how to discern the times properly, you have the correct doctrine, hey, man, let's get into these scriptures real quick. Basically, is breathtaking. 2nd Ezra chapter 2 and verse 9. Slakia. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Okay? So these signs we're seeing, part of Esau's draconian laws, to force in these things, right? We're seeing these things happening right before our eyes. I think, was that the HR bill? You know what I mean? This man is doing things right before your eyes, but Romans chapter 15 and verse 4, these things were written aforetime for our learning, and history repeats itself, okay? So we're seeing these things and we're taking note because we know in the past these things did happen, right? And it's going to happen again, all right? So, we're seeing these signs out here, okay, which the Lord told us to watch for. And we know that we're in the end of times right now. And things are just going to get more perilous, more troublesome. All right. And this man, he's going to be, enforcing these things, taking the pen and prescribing these things, have it written into paper and then it be into law. Right. And what were some of those things? Well, we already covered some. Right. But like the 3 strikes law. Here's another one. Slakia. Just had it in my mind and it slipped my mind, man. Oh, Amos chapter 8 and verse 11. Okay. There's a preacher that was out, and I don't know where it was. It's over somewhere in Europe, and they arrested him. I think it was England. I don't know if it was Paris, England, France, or UK, somewhere over there in Europe. And he got arrested for preaching, right? So, and look, another thing, what? They wanted to ban the Bible. Okay, there's many things, man. And we're seeing this, and we have the understanding from Yahweh Shemiel Shai, that these are the signs that he told us to look for. The uproars of the people, right? Satan against Satan. So continuing, let's go to 2nd Thessalonians chapter 2. 1? Or is it 1st Thessalonians 5? Yep. 1st Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. Right, so you got to stay on your P's and Q's. And you got to watch for these prophecies, okay? Another major prophecy, too, is the MOTB, All right? These things, this man is, like we say, he's writing it in paper and making it in law. Writing in law, right? For these things, for these things to be enforced. Okay? So we perfectly know that time that we're in. There's no need for, as they would say, for us to write on to you, because we perfectly know ourselves that, look, the day of the Lord is going to come as a thief in the night. So you got to watch out for these things. You got to keep your eyes peeled, open. You got to be watching for prophecies. You got to stay alert, okay? Not as those who are, sleepyhead, okay? Let's go to Matthew chapter 16 and verse 3. Was it? No. Yeah, 16 and verse 3. Actually, you can start from 1. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. And that's why it says, a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, right? We know the signs. We know the, what the hell? We know the things that the Lord has said in the scriptures that shall happen, but they want to see an actual sign. They want to see Yahushua come back, say to them, you guys are Hebrew Israelites. They're carnal, right? But we're spiritual. So continuing, the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, you actors, right? Ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? Right, and this generation, that's what I said, a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign. Right? But anyways, going back into this, and can't they see a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, right? And there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonah. And he left them and departed. And what are we doing out there? We're coming in the same stead. We're given a prophecy that's saying, this place is going to be destroyed. Okay? The Lord is going to shake this place with thermonuclear fire, man. That besom, he's going to sweep. Okay? That besom he's going to sweep this place with. Okay? And we're giving you that warning, but it's falling on deaf ears. And the only ones that are following it is the ones that have the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai within them. Okay? Who the Lord is working with. So, these 2/3, they could do all this, stuff, but yet you can't discern the times that we're in. You can't see. Shit is just getting worse and worse and worse. But you want to go get some goddamn you want to go get some Nikes. You want to play the stock market. Okay? All these worldly things you can discern, but when it comes to spiritual things, you can't discern. Because remember, the scriptures clearly tell us that, it's for us to know about these prophecies. Okay? Not them. So, continuing, going back into the 3 strikes law, this man is enforcing these things. Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. Okay, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. And, anything this man tries to do to try and make something right, he can't. Remember, the scriptures tell you that he treats his word like trash in the NLT. Psalms chapter 50, right? He tosses the instruction book behind him. And he says that he could, I know how to rule good. I know how to rule right, okay? He takes the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and he twists them, So whatever judgment he's bringing forth, we know he's on the left-hand side. He's of the wicked. He is the wicked. So it's not going to be right. It's not going to be righteous. Okay? And even if, let's just say he puts out something that seems righteous, there's a trick behind it, there's a loophole. So this guy is always sneaky. Okay? But these things that he's passing here are unrighteous decrees because we have a law to follow. Baruch chapter 4 and verse 1. Okay? Actually, you know what? Let me get that real quick. Oops. Baruch 4 and 1. This is the book of the commandments of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, and the law that endures forever. See that? The law that endures forever. So everything can be found in these scriptures when dealing with everyday life. Okay? But what does Esau do? Let me toss that behind my back. I'm gonna prescribe something here. You know, I'm gonna engrave these into law. I'm gonna write these into law. And this is the way you're gonna follow it. You know? And he doesn't follow the ways that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai has set up. Well, we know he's the wicked and it wasn't given unto him. It was given for Israel, right? So going back into this, let's go to 1 Maccabee. Because you Israelites, you're dumb. You don't read. This is why you fall into the same trap. History repeats itself. Okay? 1 Maccabee chapter 1 and verse 28. The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came into Jerusalem with a great multitude. Here's the point. And spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel. Okay? So this is the man that you're dealing with. A trickster. Okay? A hypocrite, a trickster, a snake. Okay? So here it is, you Israelites are going to vote, you know, for these people out here. No bird flies without 2 wings. Okay? These puppets. All right? Another way to address them too as well. And they're just going to be enforcing law to do away with you. Okay? You know, you succor to this man. Instead of, you know, going to your power. Okay? Woe unto them that go down to Egypt. Right? So instead of going to your power, you go to this man. And this man is putting all these draconian laws in place just to affect you. Because, yeah, you got the rabble-rousers of Esau, Edom. But mainly who you see out there with the gun violence and all this other stuff, you know, Jake. Esau, he do high-collar, blue-collar crimes or whatever the fuck it's called. White-collar crime, blue-collar crime, right? He be on some real estate, big things, fraud and all types of embezzlement and all types of shit. You know? And here it is, Jake, every 2 minutes, let out of jail, firearms charge, major drugs, all types of shit, right? You on a low level of things, but who's this really out to affect? You. Because them niggas, they get out of jail. They got money, they got lawyers, they know how the system works. But you, Jake, you the snack for the system. You're the one that keeps it going. You supply the judge with jobs. You supply the courtrooms with jobs. You supply the police with jobs. You know what I mean? Other policing agencies, security agencies, right? So you that bang, you that buck. All right? Them, they know, this guy's going to fight it and probably even sue us. Okay? Straight up. So you Israelites, keep trusting this man. And you're going to see how he's going to fall on you. and smote you very sorely. Okay? Keep putting your trust into this man. This man's not here for you. Okay? This man's your enemy. All right? He does not care about you. Psalms chapter 55 and verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Okay? So his words were smoother than butter. Okay? He gonna sell you it. Okay, he gonna be like, yeah, that sounds right, that's good. But it's really there to affect you, right? But war was in his heart, see? He gonna sell you something, but really inside he's planning how to take you down. His words were softer than oil. You know, it was very pleasant to you to hear those things too. You know, you say, oh man, yeah, I could sit back at this. But guess what? He got deceit in his heart, ready to take you down, man. Man, you Israelites, man. You know, you 2/3. You gotta, you know, you got a hell of a time coming for you, man. Say it like that. Sirach chapter 12 and verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Okay? So you gotta watch it with this individual, man. Like I said, he's a snaky individual. He's a serpent in the grass, man. And you, Jakes, you metaphorically ain't cutting the grass to see. But the Lord has given us tools to cut the grass to see. But you 2/3, you know, the light's on, but nobody home, okay? You keep falling for this man's yoke-doke, this man's traps, okay? See, you speak all those nice words in front of you. We're going to clean up your community. We're going to do this, right? All those words he's going to speak to you. And, you know, he'll weep in his eyes. I'm sorry about little Jamal that got hit. You know, I'm sorry about little Jamal that got hit. You know, little Peter that got ran over by the KKK. You know, he don't give a shit about that. You know, he imagined how to put thee in a pit, man. Okay? He'll weep with his eyes, he'll lie, he'll cry, you know, he'll sob. But inwardly, this man is thinking how to destroy you, man. Okay? That's why when you see destruction come upon the wicked, don't feel sorry for them. Pray for more destruction to come upon them and for them to be destroyed, man. You know? Those people don't love you. Your enemy don't love you. But here it is, Jake. Got it in their in their minds. That yeah, the enemy loves me, man. The enemy's there to love me, right? To give a shit about me and shit, right? Slack it 1 second. But the enemy ain't there to give a shit about you. The enemy's there to destroy you, man. Don't feel sorry or sad when you see the enemy, you know, take a L. All praises due to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rakakwadash, man. You know? Proverbs chapter 26 and 25. He speaketh fear when he speaketh fear, believe him not. For there are 7 abominations in his heart. Man, what can you say? Okay? What can you say, man? When he speaketh fear, like these politicians, you know, Trump, he's a great example. He had all the people riled up thinking that he was for them. But look what he turned around and did, man. Even the people, even the people that are right there beside him, okay? Like Elon Nut, that guy. You know? So, going back into that, when he speaketh fear, believe him not, man. Yeah, Jake, believe in this man, believing in him, wearing mega hats and all this shit. Rappers, all this stuff, man. But you Jakes, you're not hip to this, man, because the Spirit of the Lord is not working with you, okay? Whose hatred is covered by deceit. Yeah, this man, you think when he out there speaking all that stuff, yeah, man, little Jamal that got ran over by the KKK, he's just over, he got hatred for you, and he's just covering that over, glazing it over with these smooth words, right? With that deceit. But you Jakes can't read through it. His wickedness shall be shown before the whole congregation, okay? So, hey, man, all these people are hip to, the rest of the world is hip to America. But for some odd reason, you got these Jakes not hip to what's going on out here. They like, the lights are on, but nobody's home, man. And it's sad, but hey, be not curious how the ungodly shall be destroyed, man. You know what I mean? And those non-believers and whatnot, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, man. That's where our mind is at. Our mind is there. We're not deceived by these things, okay? By the wiles of the devil and by his devices, thoughts and intents, 2 Corinthians, tells you about that, if I'm not mistaken. 2 Corinthians, let me get that. Sakya, let me see, is it first? No, it's 2 Corinthians. Yeah, 2 Corinthians 2:11. Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And like I said, devices can go into thoughts and intents. Okay? So yeah, this was a real quick one. 2/3 can't discern the times, man. 3 strikes law, coming into a Canada near you. And with that, hey, all praises, all honor, all glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutation to all the Akim doing and pushing his word in sincerity and truth worldwide, and a sincere shalom to the elect. I hope you are edified. Lord willing, to the next time, Akim. Wach abad babal. Keep putting up curses on these places and 2/3 of our people and, the rest of these nations too as well. And with that, hey, shalom. Lord willing, to the next time.